Ooh, all right. I didn't end it yet because I was going to do a little Brucey bonus on my BurnEye channel. I just posted the link for the live of the stream on BurnEye where it's going to end with the rest of Moon. There he is. We got Luke. Luke for the Brucey bonus. Ancient Historia is back in the house. Look at that. Sadly,
how you doing? I don't know how loud my mic is, so we're going to have to just roll with it.
So let's see if we can get Beegs back on for the Brucey bonus. We still go in with Luke. Come back.
So this is, how's my mic sound? Because this is my first time.
Perfect, brother. Happy Good Friday. Blessings, good Luke.
I mean, this is it. If you couldn't tell, this is the mic.
It's good, man. Look at that. Stepping it up. No more potato for Ancient Historia. And,
no, not indeed.
Okay, so now I got to shill my channel, BurnEye's Mind Third Eye ScienceGuy, in the Paul Cook live chat. Here's the channel. The live stream continues the Brucey bonus over on BurnEye. So come over if you want to watch it and subscribe. Here it is again, bro.
I really need to shave. I look like... I don't even know.
Don't we all? It's okay. So do I. It's okay.
I can't grow a proper beard, though. This is all I get.
Brucey, a bonus. Still live on the BurnEye here. So we will go like kaboo and that. As I shut it down on everything else. Oh, and maybe I'll leave it live on Paul Cook too. His backup. Get Paul some more subscribers on his backup. But no longer live on the main Paul Cook, no longer live on Autodidactic. Bye, Autodidacticians. Come over to BurnEye if you want to watch this Brucey bonus with Luke and I. And so I'm also might as well be cutting it off on the I'll leave it live on Crypto Alchemist. Why not? So we love you all. So you're doing better. You're looking good. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, feeling a bit better.
You needed a little rest, and you came back stronger than ever. We'll see if Papa Dog will come back on here. If not, no worries. And
I mean, to be fair, I'm not staying long. I just popped in to show you that we're live.
Just a little Brucey bonus, right? We're just Brucey bonusing it up. And we're just trying to convince all of Paul Cook's and Campbell's subscribers to come over to my channel because, it's how you got to do the hustle. And
I saw you hustling, posting a short on my channel, you dick.
Right? Well, you weren't working, so I figured... Why not?
Steal some of my subs. Look, I've got to vet information on my channel. I can't have you posting your crazy theories about your pyramids.
Oh, my pyramids. You're Mr. Pyramid Man.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't mean I endorse anything anyone says about pyramids ever. You know what I mean? If somebody hangs someone from a pyramid, I can't be blamed for that. They can't be like, oh, Luke, he loves pyramids. Let's fucking get him.
When I do the shorts on other channels, what I recommend, if you don't fully enjoy them, is just put them for your members. You just put it behind your membership wall, and then boom, I've given you free bonus material for your paid subscribers, right? Kaboomy.
That sounds cheap. That sounds like something I shouldn't be doing, but I might do it. I might.
You're right.
But yeah, one second, I'm going to mute myself while I grind this. I don't want you guys hearing...
Fair enough. A little of the cannabis made you THC.
Although, to be fair, if you don't know what I'm doing, it kind of looks naughty, doesn't it? Look like what I'm doing with my arms.
Oh, dear. And, so look at all of this stuff to dive into. Electroculture as well. We're going to be doing, I don't know if you saw me and Campbell, and then Gerald, WPG, Enlighten for Truth with Matt from Cultivate Elevate. But Cultivate Elevate, he's been doing this electroculture, looking into it huge over the last couple years, but also then experimenting with it, trying it out, getting a whole bunch of others to try it. They're like getting 3x yields on the food that they grow, like 3 times the size, and the quantity of food just by putting these antennas into the sky and grounding it down. And that Matt thinks a lot of this antiquitech was actually types of electroculture as well. So, and the pyramids. So we're going to look into that going forward and doing more electroculture studies. And I'm going to do more, a full couple episodes on pyramids. And you, myself, and Tartarian Truth need to do another one. You, myself,
Yeah, well, I mean, if this is all working, then I'm free to stream from now on, I guess.
right?
I need to I need to get some work done with Streets of Tartaria because I've got to start recording for him. I've got a lot to catch up with that, and I've also got to start making some stuff for my own channel because well, it's been a while, but yeah.
Right? That's why I put the freaking shorts out, bro. Trying to help you out, man.
Yeah, but the people want me. They don't, you know, they don't even want my face either. They just want my voice. It's all about the voice.
Well, there you go. Put it behind your subscriber, your bonus.
The alpha male has prepared himself by purchasing a perfect microphone for the impression. Nobody can tell the difference now.
Oh
Excellent.
my god! Oh my god! That's so good. We're gonna have to do the streets of Tartaria, where it's Tartarian Truth, Ancient Historia, and BurnEye, the Alchemist, and that it will also be impressions, comedy, and I was thinking with EBTX, Enslaved by Truth channel, and Drew World Order, Chalk Body Outline, Get Chalked Up. They're great. Shout out to those channels, great guys. Tartarian Truth does a decent amount. Shem with them. Oh, thank you so much. Bless you, Lynn Jones 250 for the 10-year support. I do need more coffee. I need to get another nap in, I think, before I do my live stream tonight. So I'll be doing a fun
Coffee is code for cocaine.
Maybe for you, but
no, I'm staying away, mate. It's a Friday night and I'm inside, so I'm a behaved boy.
It's later there now, isn't it? And yeah, you shouldn't be doing drugs, especially up your nose, Luke. If you just had surgery, you let that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. Yeah, I just said I'm not doing drugs. I'm a good boy.
Attaboy. Ooh, Brick Teal, you are now a moderator. Ascend One, you are now a moderator. Who else? You all being here for this Brucey bonus. Marlene Brown, are you boom? You got the Blue Ranch. Shout out, I am Kairos. We still have to do an episode together. As with Angel Wings, I'll be emailing you in the next day or so. Sweeps, shout out to you. Cowgirl in California, sister. We got to. I got to go through all my emails, and you've sent many recently. I love you. Love all of you and everyone here. And speaking of. I gave the advice of Luke putting the little shorts that I did on his channel for members only. And speaking of Chalk Body Outline, Drew, when I restream some of his streams that I hop onto, I then, after their live is over, I switch them over to members only mode. Because it's not like the science and it's not the alternative history research so much as like the comedy and the just other general topics and stuff like that. So that's why it's members content, or watch while you're live, or if you haven't caught it afterwards, can't afford to be a member or anything like that, it's always still free over on the original channels like Drew's Chalk Body Outline and Get Chalked Up channels, where they're all still up in their full. And that is how it all works. What time is it there right now, Luke? Just so I know for future planning.
It's only 9 p.m.
Okay, yeah, so it is exactly 7 hours. For me, it's 2 p.m. here. Beautiful. How was your Good Friday? Did you have a Good Friday? You looking forward to Easter dinner this weekend?
What, is it Good Friday today?
Yeah, bro. It's 8 p.m.
I don't celebrate stuff. I'm not a happy guy. I don't celebrate.
Oh, well, Easter with, if you got the grandma or the grandpa still, or moms, you got friends that celebrate, you got her. You got it now, for Sunday or for Monday or whatever the heck it is, right? Like when I was your age, I can say that I didn't give two F's about it at all either, and that I believe these holidays like Easter and Christmas and stuff, New Year's, that they're just slightly off the original Orthodox pagan days of the solar alignments that are the real energy days and points of the holidays. And that with the hijack, they've essentially altered them to fuck with that energy. Same with the daylight savings time BS that they do and all of that, which is a bit insane and intense. And so thanks for coming on. Good to see that you're doing better. And were you saying Saturday or Sunday, like in the next couple of days? What do you want to do a stream? We can set it up. I can get Shem Tartarian Truth. He's wanting to do another. We do.
Yeah, just tell me when to turn up, and I will.
Okay, I'll set it up either for tomorrow or Sunday, I guess, or between tomorrow and Monday, depending on Shem's availability, I should say.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, in that note, we got like 5 minutes left before it reaches the 2-hour mark, and.
If you want that, I'll quickly show you my screen. I'll show you something.
Absolutely. Give us the gold nuggets. Luke's ancient.
It's just something I've been preparing. One sec. My cat is also requiring attention, but we'll deal with that.
They always do that as soon as you go live, right? Oh, and I guess I should pull up your, right? Talk about stealing subscribers. I should probably give you a shout out and pull up your channel. Ancient Historia.
Tell me when you're looking at my screen anyway.
We are looking at your screen, good sir.
Okay, cool. So some of this stuff that I'm going to be going over in the next few days on my channel when I actually get my shit together is going to be this stuff. So basically I've gone through all the archives of newspapers, just getting together all the references of Tartarian stuff, just to build a bit of a narrative of what happened through the newspapers. So I thought, go back to the actual records, see what they were saying at the time. And it really does build this this narrative of Russia slowly invading independent Tartary, as you'll see from articles like this. Stuff it talks here about Russia having the whole of independent Tartary, save for some very inconsiderable khanates. And this goes on. It talks about other stuff. We've got Crimean Tartary coming up. This is all independent Tartary, but I'll go through it in much detail. I include all the links so that people can check for themselves, because people do like to accuse me of faking these articles, right? Which is hilarious.
They're fucking trolls. It's like, do your own research, and us real researchers will always include the links so you can follow up and see our sources and source the articles yourselves.
Well, that's the point, so people can't complain. This is the Russian invasion columns. So this here actually shows, well, like I say, I'll get into it in one of my videos, but it shows, so that's the Caspian Sea there. So this is the area we're looking at, independent Tartary. It shows the way that they invaded. These articles all talk about what happens. This one is very interesting. It talks about Alexander possibly being a talker man. Alexander the Great. This one talks about Trojans being Aryans who are from independent Tartary. So all the times I've talked about Tartarians literally being Aryans, this article backs that up. The Trojans were of this same Aryan race. The region from which the people came seems to have been independent Tartary. So, it's interesting what you can find when you go into the records. I tried it with Britain, but unfortunately what Britain's done is they've allowed a private company to do all this, and they charge because they don't want the poor having access. They only want you having access if you have money. I mean, it's not a load, but it's still like, you know, you have to pay a membership to be able to read the articles, and it's all of Britain's newspaper articles. So I had to go to America. So this is the actual American government archive of all these places. So it includes all these articles that reference this stuff. And, you know, you can do this yourself if you're bored at home and you want to get involved. You can find these archives, have a look, see what you can find. Because you know, all these different articles mentioning independent Tartary, you know, it just proves what we're talking about here. I don't know why my mouse is having like a little seizure, by the way. Ignore that.
Right,
but,
and that there's this big Tartaria elephant in the room that it's kind of taken over a life on its own in like the alternative history, hidden history, lost knowledge community in a lot of ways. And like some people always, you know, there's extremists that take it way out of proportion. But what I love in bringing you together, Luke, Ancient Historia, with Tartarian Truth Shem and myself, we focus a lot on the actual truth of Tartaria, of where the maps are that say Tartaria, where the freaking the stories written of the Tartars themselves, the Tartarians, Little Tartaria, and the real Tartarian culture history.
Well, like, look at this one, for example. This is 1912, okay? So this is 2 years before World War One kicks off. So this is Russia takes Mongolia and Chinese Tartary from China. So this is the article. It's announced that Mongolia and Chinese Tartary will become independent of China and go under Russia's protection. Russia is also extending a zone of influence over the northern part of Russia. You know, and it carries on talking about things like this, which, you know, Chinese Tartary is essentially Manchuria and places north of there. So around those regions. But again, it just, so this is China regaining Turkestan. You go further back, this is the flight of the emperor, which talks of the emperor fleeing into Manchuria. So this is, it's really weird. The emperor flees a lot. So I'm not sure which this one is exactly, because I don't really have time to read it. But the Manchuria fleeing is different from the fleeing of into Tartary. I think it's here, possibly. So this talks of the emperor of Tartary, by the way. So if you ever, you know, want to go into the whole empire thing, there it is. This is from 1889. So there's an emperor of Tartary in 1889. The death of the emperor of China. So this is
years ago, right before 1900, emperor of Tartaria. You're saying
exactly, yeah. And this is talking about the British. So the British and the French, they were the allies. I like how they use words like that, by the way. You know, when they're naming them, they go, "What do we call our team?" Well, we're the allies, aren't we? What do we call the enemy? You know, the evil monsters. Like it's just a way of like making your team the good guys. You know, instead of saying the invaders, it's the. But this talks about when Britain and China got to Pekin, and I'll click it. There we go. So it talks about the death of the Emperor of China. By the arrival of the ship Palmer from Hong Kong, we have intelligence of the death of Hian Feng, the Emperor of China. He died at his palace at Seahole in Tartary on the 22nd of August. He fled to Seahole on the advance of the Allied army upon Pekin in September 1860 and remained there up to the time of his death. It is supposed that the nomination of a successor to the emperor was given in favor of his infant son, who reigns under a regency consisting of a council of 6. So again, this is talking about, you know, him fleeing to Tartary when the British arrived in September of 1860, or the Allied army, which is British and French, arrived in 1860, September, and he fled to Seahole in Tartary.
So, 1860, right? Like that's so, oh man, like they really wiped out Tartary just before the World Wars and completely reset it after.
Now this one is it's a bit of a satirical article, but it's just talking about how great newspapers are. It's popping their asses up a bit, but it says, in a quarrel with a newspaper, the laugh is against the private citizen. The press asserts for the public the right of the eminent domain over individual affairs. If your daughter is to be married, the newspaper calls to count the towels and see the pattern of the spoons. If the emperor of Crim Tartary or the king of the Cannibal Islands arrives, the newspaper takes an inventory of his bedchamber and informs me that he likes his beef rare. That's probably a reference to, tartar sauce and, beef rare steak. But the Emperor of Crim Tartary, for that to be a reference that people that are reading understand, it has to be a thing. Do you know what I mean? It has to actually be a thing. So this is in 1881. So in 1881, the people of the time will have understood what you were meaning if you'd have turned around and said the Emperor of Crim Tartary. Now, as we know, that's Crimea or Little Tartary. So we know that in, 1881, Crim Tartary and having an emperor was something that people knew about.
Right, exactly, and it was everywhere. It's common knowledge at that point, and that they reset it. They wiped it out. The victors write history.
This one is really interesting. This article itself is how the banknote was created. So obviously I've just taken the necessary information, but we will go into the articles on my videos if people are interested. But it's talking about in 1332 AD, the Emperor of Tartary made money of paper and leather to such an extent that gold and silver fell into disuse. So the Emperor of Tartary in 1332 was making money of paper and leather.
Really? Fiat currency 700 years ago, and in the Tartarian Empire, too, area.
Yep. This is talking about Russia, talking about it expanding. From Tartary has been acquired the immense territory between the Caspian Sea and the Baikal Lake, equal in extent to Austria, Prussia, France, Spain, and Italy. So again, this is talking about independent Tartary from the Caspian Sea all the way to Lake Baikal. And if people say this was just a name that we use for an area, then this surely has to get you. This talks about a godly number of the Celestials are brave and quite skillful warriors, especially in the inhabitants of Chinese Tartary. Now, this is something you'll find. They're called Celestials. The former inhabitants of these areas were known as Celestials, which is quite interesting. Yeah, now, this one here, it's from 1873. The Khan and Tartary has seen enough of war and sues for peace. But it's not a real place, but it's suing for peace,
Right? The cognitive dissonance just pisses me off.
How the Chinese came to wear pigtails. There was a war between China and Tartary. It's not a real place, but it had a war with China. Somebody should have told the Chinese, No wonder that they weren't winning. They were fighting ghosts, apparently.
Just narrative destroying, and
and there's another one. Check this. So this is a poem.
Right now, this is absolutely epic. I'm just saying, the more the merrier. Keep this going, because I'm gonna edit it and republish it as just us, the Brucey bonus, and get people stoked up for your upcoming new episodes on all of this crucial new hardcore research by Luke at Ancient Historia.
But yeah, are we finishing, or are you carrying on?
No, I said continue. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can't hear you because I haven't plugged in my my headset yet. So my things. But this is again, you can't see it very well, so we'll go on it at some point. This is talking about this is a poem or story based on a poem about Mazeppa, or the wild horse of Tartary, and it's it mentions the king of Tartary, who's known as Mazeppa. So Mazeppa, the king of Tartary. Now, whether it's just a story or not, up to you. But this story appears in quite a lot of newspapers. This talks of the Sham of Tartary declaring war. So if we have a look at this one, Or I think, sorry, no, the Sham of Tartary convinced somebody under the influence of the Grand Vizier and the Sham of Tartary. Yeah, so he convinced this person to declare war on the Tsar's Majesty in 1711. So he wasn't declaring war himself, but he was influencing somebody. So again, these are real people. They, were part of a real country. The tattooed man. This is something you'll find. Apparently, this guy, this American, and some others were captured by Chinese Tatars, and they were tattooed. And that's apparently something that they would do to people, is tattoo them to say you were a prisoner. The key to slang, which comes from 1907. I like this one because a key to slang, and it says catching a Tatar. I think you've probably seen this at some point, but it says during the war between Russia and Tartary, again, not a real place, but it had a war with Russia and China. A private soldier shouted, "Captain, I have caught a Tatar." "Well, bring him in," the captain rejoined. "He won't let me," the soldier called despairingly as his prisoner dragged him into the Tatar lines. Now, this has been seen, catching a Tatar. I've actually seen this under a different description where it says the same thing, catching a Tatar, but it actually says during a war with the Irish in the East, they caught a Tatar, and Tatar means thief. So there is an example of how they've twisted that, because they've changed it from a war between Russia and Tartary to a war in Ireland with somebody, and Tartar means a thief. It just means a thief. Don't worry. They caught a thief.
Tar and Aryan, those words both bastardized. Tartar or Tartarian, also all bastardized. And Tartar is thief. Every way they could discriminate and change the perception.
Like this one here talks, thence he crossed the Kyrgyz, stepped along the frontiers of Chinese Tartary, and visited the ruins of the ancient city of Bulgaride, or Bulgari, formerly the capital city of the Tartary Empire. So that is from 1830. Interesting that it's Bulgaride, and we know of the kingdom of Bulgar, the Bulgarians, the Bulgarians, Bulgari. So, these connections are all there. This talks about the Mughal Empire. The Mughals are the ones that were in India. Now, Britain obviously took over that, and it talks about them being descended from Tamerlane, a Tartarian prince who was born in the once famous city of Samarkand. And up here, unfortunately, we start getting into the British ones, which have been paywalled. I managed to get a couple, but which just mention the war between the Grand Seigneur and the Tartarians against the Emperor and the Tsar and the Venetians. The Venetians is very interesting. Why the fuck were they involved? But and he even says, why have the Tartarians become mere Tartars? Now this is the actual article. It's a great article, actually. It's a person that's emailed in asking the editor, and he's saying, can you answer me these questions? And one of the questions is saying that this guy is describing the war between the Grand Seigneur and the Tartarians against the against the Emperor, and this just carries on. So we'll go into it more, but it's very interesting stuff, because this person in whatever year, 1877 in England, is asking about why the Tartarians have become, sorry, I keep clicking stuff, why the Tartarians have become mere Tartars. And that's a question that we've been asking, isn't it? So same question is being asked all the way back to 1877, which is, insane. This article here references the war again. Says the Russian government has continued its gradual preparations for occupying independent Tartary. So this stuff is just it's incredible, isn't it? What do you think?
Absolutely epic, man. Like, just non-stop, more sources and sources of in-your-face, undisputable evidence of documented Tartarian Empire history in the official histories of all of the global empires.
Well, I think as well, though, if they were to say, well, okay, maybe it wasn't really a place. Maybe it was just a name that we gave to it. So, for example, the British Empire, when it was taking over, if we were the people living there, we might have called it something else. We might have called it, I don't know, the Anglian Empire or, Britannican Empire. So perhaps it's something like that. But there's a language.
Also, though, called the Scythian at one point.
Well, it's debatable whether the Scythians are the same empire or whether they're the people that were there before, because it does kind of look that they might be, because the Scythians,
the giants ahead before that, right?
But the thing I want to focus on is, people have seen this before, is Madam Anna Bishop. I actually tracked this down because in one of my first ever Tartaria video, when I knew nothing, I was just showing a website, this came up. And at the time, people obviously were asking for sources of different things, and I didn't have any sources. So I actually went out of my way to find this stuff. And this talks about this person, Madam Anna Bishop. If you want to look her up, you can do, but you won't find anything about this. But it talks about her performing. So where is this from? It's from the Washington Union, Tuesday, February 13th, 1849, on page 3. So how'd you like that for sources? But it talks about her singing. She'll be sustaining 7 distinct characters in this performance. So the entertainment will commence with her celebrated musical fantastical scenes of circumstance entitled La Surfugato, but or is that a mark? Siorgato? I don't know. But in which Madam Anna Bishop will sustain 7 distinct characters. So it's a performance where she plays 7 characters in this performance, and they have costumes, and she sings in 6 different languages. And that is Russian, German, English, French, Tartarian, and Italian. So in 1849, Tartarian was as much as a big language as Russian, German, English, French, and Italian for her to be singing in it. And we go up here to this one, which I don't have the source on, but you can actually find this if you type it in, the world's alphabets, and put Tartaria with it. You'll easily find it, because it's in a few different papers, so you don't need just one source. But it talks about how many letters are in, or how many characters are in each language. And as you can see at the bottom, it says Ethiopian and Tartarian each have 202. Now, that's very different from today's Tartarian, because, and this is the reason, when Russia took over, they Latinicized everything, basically. And they turned everything to our Latin alphabet or English alphabet, but they made everything to conform with Latin, and they changed a lot of names, in fact, to be Latin names, which is really weird. I don't know why they did that, but the result being that the Tartarian that they speak now in Tatarstan is not the same. It's like a tiny, small Latinicized version. But yeah. That's here. In fact, I've sourced it here, Tartarian language, and this is from England, 4th of August, 1891, in the Northeastern Daily Gazette from Middlesbrough. And you can see at the bottom, Ethiopian and Tartarian each have 202.
That's just crazy numbers, and there's so much fake information out there. Shit, I'm still echoing. I'm going to let you keep talking. I'm going to exit and come right back in.
I think, oh wait, it might be because my mic's picking you up, Has he left? If he has, then oops, I think it's my fault. I'm going to turn my TV down. Oopsie. But yeah, so this one's really interesting. So it's talking about this nation submitted to the Manchus under the emperor's father, imploring his protection against the Russians, who, passing in armed banks out of the Sagalian into the Sangu, scored all the rivers communicating with them and became terrible to the Tartarian nations on their banks. So you see Tartarian nations, there's multiple Tartarian nations, obviously part of the empire. Now, this is down here is talking about a treaty between presumably the Chinese and the Russian, or the Tartarians involved. But the treaty, it says, this present treaty with all its articles shall be engraven in the Tartarian, Chinese, Russian, and Latin languages upon stone, which
And
would be
Latin
placed at the bounds
also.
settled between the two empires, there to remain as a perpetual monument of the good understanding that ought to subsist between them. So yeah, Tartarian, Chinese, Russian, and Latin. Now this was from. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly when this thing was placed, but the article itself is from the 1800s. I haven't got a source for it, but it's a British article. I remember that. But this is one of the ones somebody said was fake because they said that the things here didn't line up, and it's like that's just the way that the reader highlights the text for you. I've not cut text and put it in, but but yeah. So that's the end of the stuff. But we'll be going deeper into it. But yeah, like you said, how interesting is it that Latin is mentioned in that? Why Latin?
We need to find that stone.
We need to go and find the stone. Well, where is it? Let's have a look. It says the full text of this treaty can be found in the travels of the Jesuit, although I wouldn't ever trust a Jesuit, who saved the life of the good emperor.
In the Vatican archives.
Father Gabillion. Yeah, well, exactly. It all goes back to the Vatican, doesn't it? At the end of the day,
if it's Jesuit,
all goes back there. But yeah, I'll stop sharing, and then for my last little thing, I'll show you what I've got, which I'm quite excited about.
I doubt this was Jesuit propaganda. It sounds more like Jesuit cover-up.
There we go. I've got my research.
Boom, baby. We got books too.
Right. So I don't know if some of you guys might know Wilson and Blackett. Well, I've managed to get hold of pretty much every book available. So this is King Arthur Conspiracy Part 1. Talks about the British basically coming from like Israel, basically. This one is the part 2 to that book, which is great. This is Where is Jesus Buried? Turns out that is in Wales. So yeah, absolutely. Again, go against this stuff. Moses in the hieroglyphs. Now this is nuts. This is thick, and this goes into how the hieroglyphs can be translated with the Welsh language, like fully translated with the Welsh language. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, so grab one of them if you can, because once these are out of print, they probably won't be coming back. So you need to get hold of them. And this final one, again, another really thick one, is the Trojan War in 650 BC, which goes into that. Now these books are the best thing ever. If you want to learn about British history, which you guys were talking about, this is your way in.
Real knowledge. Books cannot be edited or expunged like on the internet that's happening. That's why we encourage books. I wanted to bring up and show all my books after the research I'm going into right now after you show yours, but I realized that I was reading them and I moved them upstairs so I don't have them next to me, but that's part of it. So I'm echoing like heck. I'm going to edit this last clip and repost it all with that.
You're not echoing for me, you know?
Perfect. Okay, well, maybe I'm not then. I did see a comment that it said I was. Hopefully not. Either way.
It might be because you're echoing through my mic.
Could be. But
it's because I need to get my headset plugged in. It's too sensitive. I don't understand how this weighty thing works.
Right?
It's caressing it.
Just a dirty girl. A dirty mic girl. And on that note, I am so glad and stoked. It was a pleasure, brother Luke. Thank you for coming on for the Brucey bonus. And
great to see you again, bro.
And to see you hanging out some more again, because I've been missing my brother Luke. And that you are recovered, and we'll do a full episode together with Shem Tartarian Truth right away. And
get him on tomorrow. We'll do it, and I'll have a shave. I'll actually look presentable. I'll wash my hair so I don't have to have the hat on.
Fair enough. Well,
great.
You look good as it is, and happy Easter, everyone. Byzantine, absolutely. Azur and Luke, I look forward to your upcoming new videos you're putting together on these topics and all the other great interviews you're doing with so many more in the community, the real research. One last time, I just posted Luke's channel in all of the live chats, because we're still live on 2 of my Facebooks, 2 of my YouTubes, 1 of my Twitters, or 2 of my Twitters, 1 of my Twitches, Rumble, and Paul Cook #2. And on that note, I love all of you. Happy Easter. We'll see you on the next one.
See you later.
This is the bit, isn't it? That confuses me. It's like, did we choose to come here to get this sorted out, or is this just seems a little unfair, doesn't it? That you know, we seem to be here and there's this parasite messing up our experience.
And, you know, I know in my own life, the times that I've made major changes, it was like it became more painful not to change than to change. That was when I made big changes.
You know, it's this whole ridiculous narrative of, it's, you know, it's an unsafe world. There's not enough for you. It's scary. Everyone's out to get you. And clearly the old civilization was completely the opposite to that. It was all about empowerment, like literally.
Cosmic resonance, I think they called that one. Or
Cosmic resonance, that's a better name.
Real science, you can actually produce free electricity, and this is part of what Tesla was doing, is the differential between the top of the spire to the ground actually creates an electrical differential that you then connect to another wire that goes into the ground, your grounding. Put that into the third phase in your circuit, and then you have a bell ringing circuit, and that actually produces plasma electricity out of the air. It's real technology. These things actually function producing electricity. It's crazy.
The movies are the truth and the news is the lies. They've completely flipped it.
You know, when you look at everything with new eyes and you come across information like she was born into a very wealthy family with elite connections, you know, it means something very different now to me than it would have even a few years ago. And it's our free will that they've really also messed with, because we've been lied to and we react based on lies. Just getting their independence and end up in civil wars for 20, 30 years happens a lot.
Because we keep choosing to pick up the gun and use it on ourselves instead of building and uniting and accepting that we are one people, one spirit, one harmony on one plane that together, united, can achieve anything we dream of.
So do you want to, you know, wake up, or do you want to just keep going along because the change is too difficult?
And then give them pieces of information that they will then pursue themselves and look into, and then they'll wake themselves up.
I was going to mention it's the whole red pill, blue pill of the Matrix. I mean, that of the movie. And you can consider that movie as a documentary because they're telling us something about what's happening here.